We are live here in the streaming studio. Very exciting stuff. We are joined by meteorologist Joe Winters. How's your morning going, Joe?
Morning's going just fine. It's nice and quiet. The weather right now a little gray, but not a lot going on right now. So it's been a good morning.
We are recovering. Joe and I are still. We had a busy weekend. We were out at the Marian Masquerade. We've had lots of very nice people come and say hello and that they enjoyed the show, which we are so grateful to hear. But it's a long couple days.
It is. But it was a good couple of days. We got through it. I was fighting a bit of a cold or something at the time, but Becky powered through and got me through that. So no, it was good. And we've got, of course, one more coming up this weekend on Saturday, which will be a really nice day weather-wise.
Yes, Saturday will be, but we are here to talk about the couple of days in between, which we have gotten our strength back for, geared up for, to get ready for Friday. Friday is what we are focusing on right now. And we've said it's a first alert day, but so far we've really been talking about first alert days in terms of snow and winter weather. So I do want to ask, what does First Alert Day mean now?
Right, so First Alert Day is going to be used year-round, right? We're going to hear them at different times. You've heard them more, of course, with the winter, and that's just because of the season we've been in. As far as now moving into what will be our spring-type weather season, First Alert Day is going to be something that's going to let you know when we have strong or impactful storms that could potentially bring some damage to the area. Now, that could come in the form of severe weather, wind, hail, tornado. Of course, we see that. It also could come with some flooding. And then we also look at days, especially during the summer season, as we did during the winter season, that are extreme heat days too. So there will be days where we will have first alert days out for extreme heat, and we've already had a couple of them out also for some high fire danger as well if we are dry. So again, it gives you that heads up that, hey, this is a day you want to pay attention to. And we'll put it on the 9-day as early as we feel confident that something's going to happen. And then as we move ahead, if that impact is much less, or the storms change, and we know that certainly happens, you may see that first alert day go away, and we'll let you know that too. But it gives you that real heads up that, hey, if you're thinking about this particular day, and in this case, Friday, you want to kind of plan ahead a little bit because there are times where you may not just want to be outside, you may want to be inside. Now with this being the first severe weather threat of the year, you kind of want to prepare because people are not really thinking in that mindset quite yet.
No, absolutely not. I am personally still stuck on, cold weather. Which coat do I wear? Is it going to snow again? That kind of thing. But it's March now. Spring is not too far away.
But I'm going to answer that question. I think it will snow again.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
And just a little heads up,
period.
We've got 70 degrees expected on Friday. That'll help fuel these storms.
Yes.
Right now, looking ahead to St. Patrick's Day, which everybody looks forward to, much colder weather. So it's that time of the year where we see those drastic changes in temperature that can lead to just threat. This is our upcoming severe threat that we have moving in again on Friday. What do we know? Well, we know there'll be storms with wind and hail threat developing Friday. In fact, it looks like we'll see 2 rounds possible, both of which could bring some of those elements. Are tornadoes out of the question? We may talk about it a little later. No, but the primary threats certainly will be hail or some strong winds. The biggest thing we're working on is timing and placement of the strongest storms. I think the morning placement and timing, pretty good right now. We're close enough that's pretty locked in. But what happens in the morning can affect what happens in the afternoon and either delay it or lessen its severity as well. And that could be evening, even into the nighttime hour. So that's something really working on. What can you do right now? Well, what you're doing right now, listening to us, preparing, right? Staying weather aware. You also want to make sure that your weather radio is ready to go. So that might mean changing your batteries if you haven't changed those, because if the power goes out, you want to make sure you're able to get warnings. And of course, we always encourage you to download the First Alert Weather app, and not only download it, make sure your notifications are on, and not only make sure your notifications are on, make sure your location is on as well, because that way it can track you wherever you happen to be. Or once you open that app, it will be able to track you and give you the warnings that you particularly need in your area. So you aren't getting a warning that Decorah may need while you're in Lynn County. So it's just a thing to do with the First Alert Weather app. Make sure you do that as well. So that's kind of how you can prepare at this moment.
Those notifications, especially important at times when storms hit, that you may not be looking at your phone. Like it's not at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when you're like scrolling through your lunch break. Sometimes these things happen overnight, very early. So is there any chance of that happening on Friday?
There is, in fact, 2 rounds, and the first round will come at night. So let's just go ahead and take a look at some timing for you. And this is one of the models, and again, models kind of coming into agreement in many ways as to that morning round of storms. So there's midnight. Eastern Iowa, quiet. A bit of a stronger southeast wind is certainly going to be with us. As we'll move ahead in time, you see the storms that develop west and move east. So by 3 a.m., we could certainly be seeing some activity across portions of eastern Iowa. And embedded within those cells, there's the possibility of some large hail as they move through. So there's 3 a.m., there's 6 a.m. So that takes you right through the early morning. Still with us, certainly. And it does look like it encompasses most of eastern Iowa with that threat. Now, maybe if you drew a line from Prairie du Chien to Fayette to Waterloo, south of that line has a little better chance. And then it moves out fairly quickly as well as we move through the morning hours, and then we see a bit of a drying. So that's the first time. And you mentioned that nighttime severe weather. That's when we could see it. Right now it looks like primary hail, but if there could be some damaging winds or something that you may want to get down into your storm shelter, you certainly want to be able to be alerted to that. And again, one of the best ways, of course, also at night is the weather radio. It will wake you up.
It will. You can hear that thing through several rooms sometimes.
And again, I want to stress, no guarantee that we're going to see severe weather, but that possibility is there. And again, that first round happens in the morning. Certainly our morning team will be following that very closely.
And that timing, morning commute, driving to school, kids standing outside for the school bus. So just want to be aware, occasionally a school will maybe slightly delay students getting on the bus. So be aware if you've got kids that might be outside. Just keep an eye on what the school's plan is too. So
and your plan too. If you see that there's hail out there, you may not want to say, guys, come on in for a while.
Just wait it out.
Just wait till that storm passes.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't look widespread. It doesn't look like it's going to be a major event, but where it happens, it certainly could be severe in spots.
And the first of the season, so just something a little bit refreshing.
Absolutely.
For your memory.
And as we said, 2 rounds, right?
Yes.
So that's our nighttime round, right?
first.
Early morning. Second round comes in during the afternoon. And what happens during the afternoon really going to dictate kind of how it evolves. So we take a look at Pinpoint Futurecast again at noon. And I don't think there'll be probably this much rain across the area. Maybe northern Iowa is seeing some, but where that rain remains, the clouds remain, temperatures don't warm quite as much, the atmosphere doesn't reset quite as much. It may lessen that threat. That's something we'll be watching certainly tomorrow at this time. And at this point, it does look like a break, which is very common when we see severe weather move through. 3 o'clock, fairly quiet across eastern Iowa, but you notice to the west, there are already some storms starting to develop in southwest Iowa, and there's your 6 o'clock picture. So now a line of thunderstorms starting to take shape, and that moves right into the beginning of our evening hours. So evening commute for some of our central and western viewers. The farther east you go, still maybe a dry at this point, but very mild. Highs again at least 70 degrees, getting close to records in spots. We move from that time frame all the way through our evening, and there you go. Showers and storms moving through, and you notice you're seeing kind of those higher reflectivity or the yellows, the reds. That's the time you could certainly also see that possibility of not only some large hail, but the way it's evolving and kind of developing into a line, that could also produce some damaging winds. And damaging winds, we're looking at 60 miles an hour or greater, basically, across the area. This is not a derecho. Okay, I'm going to just say that right now. This is not that type of storm system, but any damaging wind certainly can cause some issues, and that's what you want to be aware of. And that's probably more of a primary threat during the afternoon. Can't rule out an isolated tornado, but the threat is much lower on that. Primary would be damaging winds.
Now, I am not a meteorologist, obviously, as you all can tell by some of the questions that I ask. This is very complicated. But what really kind of tripped me, my alarm, I guess, mentally a couple days ago, was how warm it's going to get.
Oh yeah, we're looking at temperatures. In fact, let me see if I can find that. Did not put that map in, but let me see if I can get that one in.
Because that really, that switch up.
Just to show you where the warmth is.
Startling.
Yeah, we were in the 30s earlier this week. We're in the 50s today. And it's going to be very warm. And the warm air always can make the atmosphere certainly more unstable. Let's just find tomorrow's highs. And this should show us very nicely where the warm air is placed. And this is across the upper Midwest. So you're looking at temperatures near 81 degrees in Dodge City, 77 in Omaha, 71 in Cedar Rapids, close to 80 in Missouri. That's the area, of course, that's also outlined for the severe threat. So that warmth that's out there, and a bit of a contrast off to the west. It's not quite the classic, major cold front moving through that's just going to drop our temperatures immediately, but those warm temperatures in the 70s, if we just take a look at where the severe threat is located, there's eastern Iowa. But look at that. When we widen the picture out, you'll see that it's right where that warmth is placed that we're seeing that threat. And this is for tomorrow for the threat. So you're seeing two colors on there too. So the yellow, a slight risk, a higher or more enhanced risk. That would take into account Missouri, Kansas, areas of Arkansas, northern areas of Texas, and parts of Oklahoma. That's where the heat will be. That's where the storm systems themselves, the area of low pressure, will be at the right time of day. Right time of day means everything as well, and it all kinds of comes together there. So they're expecting more of a tornadic outbreak down there as well than we would see farther north. But you mentioned the warmth. Yeah, I mean, 71 degrees, that's going to be absolutely incredible to see the temperature and feel it again.
Yeah.
But that again is going to fuel some of the storms.
Probably, is it going to be like kind of a muggy?
Yeah, we'll feel a little of that mugginess, because the moisture's out there. Dew points will be climbing. So, not the classic go out in the summer and it's just incredibly, but definitely noticeable, especially with the warmth, the strong southeast winds. It's going to feel like, or you'll go outside and it'll be one of those days in the afternoon that you'll go, something could happen. You just got, you have that feeling.
There's some energy in
yes,
the air.
there's something, it's kind of there, so something could happen. And we'll see thunderstorms move through regardless of how strong they get. And we can use the rain, but we certainly don't want the severe weather.
Earlier you said, listing some of the things we could see, hail, strong winds, and you said tornadoes, but can you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, there are certain ways that we watch systems evolve and develop and what type of threat there would be. There is definitely a large hail and high wind threat. Large hail threat probably better in the morning, high wind threat better in the evening as those two rounds kind of move through. It's a non-zero chance that along that line we could see a tornado, generally small in nature and very isolated. It's not a major outbreak for us. But again, our ingredients here aren't just as great, along with the heavy rain. Yeah, there may be spots that get some heavy rain, but it's not going to be as great as we see farther down to the south. So let's just look at kind of a setup that we have right now and why we may not see more of that tornadic threat. As far as moisture, yeah, it's not incredibly high, but there's enough. Like we said, you'll go outside tomorrow with the 70s and you'll kind of notice that, and you see where it is. It's across areas of the upper Midwest. I set this for about 6 o'clock, I think, on Friday, kind of that time frame looking at our evening round. Lots of strong southerly winds across eastern Iowa. And if you just look back, non-meteorologist Becky, you look back across areas of the plains and the upper Midwest, notice the blue arrows or the northerly winds moving in, and they just kind of across northwest Iowa into areas of Kansas. There's a cold front moving in as well. So that kind of lifts the atmosphere and helps that, again, produce stronger storms. Now, mainly in eastern Iowa, though, our winds are from the south. And when we take a look at the winds as we go higher in the atmosphere, they're mainly from the southwest. Now, they're strong, but what we would like to see to get more,
is accelerating.
if you're looking for
visual.
If you're looking for a stronger tornadic threat, you'd like to see the winds that we have more southeast, and then they turn as they move to the southwest as you go up higher in the atmosphere. So southeast wind turning toward the southwest. We won't see quite as much turning.
Okay.
There's some shear there, right? Shear is the difference either in speed, and there's some speed shear, but also in directional shear. And because of that, that's probably less on our tornadic threat.
What is shear?
Shear is a difference in either direction that we would use it or in speed.
Okay.
So if you're going up in the atmosphere and one layer of the atmosphere is going much faster, much slower, there's a speed shear as you go up, a change, right?
Okay.
There's a change. So think about that. We talk about that once in a while, but good.
Got it.
Good. And in this case, the directional shear is not great. There is certainly some speed shear out there. We do have some instability in the area, so this would be the energy that the storm system would be looking to use. The strongest, though, still remains down across Kansas and Missouri, where we see, again, that strongest threat. And that's why you see, again, the energy for storms. We'll just kind of watch that energy move through. Watch as that energy pushes in. There's where the storms develop, right? Along that energy as we head into our Friday, right where we have the severe weather outlook out. These are the latest. Eastern Iowa, it basically covers most of eastern Iowa. Take out a far, far sliver of northern Iowa up toward Mason City, and then you head back toward the northwest. Things look fine. You look wide, and you notice all the way down to Texas. We have that outlook for severe weather, and the strongest threats certainly across parts of the central plains, including Kansas City, down just outside of Oklahoma City now, heading into Arkansas. So that orange is likely to be where most of the severe weather will be, but That threat will be with us all the way from areas of Wisconsin and Iowa all the way down south to Texas.
So it is creeping into our area just there at the top.
It is, and that's again why we are having our first alert day that is in effect. Once again, that will be for all of Friday, multiple rounds, 2 of them, particularly morning and afternoon, or evening I should say, large hail, damaging wind as scattered thunderstorms develop.
Again, the first of those kind of taking place, you said 3 a.m.-ish moving into our area?
Yeah, I would say let's watch right now. Let's put that in right about 3 a.m. I think that time's pretty good. That'll be that's not necessarily Cedar Rapids, Dubuque. That's probably more toward Tama. And remember, we go west to east. And from that until probably 8 o'clock, 6, 8 o'clock, something like that, that first round moves through. Watch all those storms. We'll certainly update you. Second round at this point, probably closer to a 5 or 6 o'clock start. And then moving toward the east and probably lasting till 9, 10 o'clock or so as it moves through as well. That one has the higher damaging wind threat.
And we will, of course, continue to have the latest updates as things adjust and, maybe move around a little bit, just as weather does.
It's weather, and weather changes. And we want you certainly to stay updated on the latest forecast. That's one thing you can absolutely do. Now, as far as staying connected with us during severe weather, and keep this in mind all through severe weather season, the First Alert Weather app, make sure you download it. It's free. Set up your notifications, set up your location so you get all the warnings that you need as well as our forecast. KCRG.com. Always have articles up about the storms as well, so you can read a little more in depth as well. Weather Call Next Gen. If you want to get a call on your phone that will tell you when your area that you have targeted is under a warning, you can do that by signing up for Weather Call Next Gen. Of course, lots of live streaming. We're starting now. We've got a live stream going. I know you'll be talking to Corey later today.
Yes, Corey and I will be back here on the live stream at 6:30 for a very First Alert Day focused weekend watch.
Yeah, exactly. The weekend, quite honestly, the weekend's going to be great. You'll be watching
that part
Friday.
Would be so much fun, but a very Friday focused weekend watch.
Very much so. And you're going to see us live streaming a lot during events as well. We'll talk about that in just a second. Of course, NOAA Weather Radio, I consider it your indoor warning siren. So make sure you have a weather radio. They are not expensive. They're easy to set up. We will have several programming events coming up again, starting in April all the way through May. We'll be announcing the dates and locations of those coming up. But many of you have them. We know that. We programmed them through the years. Make sure your weather radio is set to go as well. And I do want to talk about our streaming coverage. A little bit of a change that we have not seen before from the Weather Lab. We'll be doing some live extended continuous storm coverage directly from the Weather Lab. As we're kind of preparing for our shows and things too. It's going to be available on all of our streaming platforms. It'll be on KCRG.com, the KCRG First Alert Weather app, as well as our news apps. Take your pick. Fire TV, Apple TV, Roku,
no
YouTube,
excuse, guys.
Facebook, KCRG.com, it's all there. But that'll be kind of a little more behind the scenes. And as we're kind of watching the storms develop, at times we'll be providing some audio narration. At times you may be just having radar and kind of seeing us in the Weather Lab as well as we watch and watch the storms evolve. So a little bit more. That could be before as well as after storms. Of course, during storms, and that will certainly be on as well. But that's kind of new to our streaming platforms.
Absolutely. We do also have a severe weather special coming up in a couple of weeks. March 23rd, that's a Monday at 6:30. We'll have a live stream special focused on getting ready for the severe weather season.
Yeah, which normally I think of March as kind of that month you should prepare. We can have it happen, could happen tomorrow, but it'll give you some good tips. We'll look at how thunderstorms evolve and develop. We'll take a look at weather spotting, what you could do if you want to be a weather spotter. We'll look at how climate change has had some effect on our severe weather season, so lots on that special. And you said that comes up on the 23rd of March. Corey and I will join you right here for that special coming up on that evening.
I'm very excited. Those weather specials are so valuable, especially to people who don't necessarily know as much as you guys. So just to have that expertise in one place, all wrapped up for us is really fantastic.
It's just great to be here, and it's great to provide the information as we need it. I hope always for no severe weather during an entire
That's true,
season.
Yes. We do hope.
It has never happened. But you always watch and see. But we'll be there, certainly in all the places you expect us to be, to let you know if something's happening.
Again, Corey and I will be back at 6:30 after all of our evening newscasts and before the 10 for a latest, more in-depth breakdown of the First Alert Day tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for joining us here in the streaming studio for this. Have a great evening.